Hi, my dear students of grade 12. Welcome to English Reading and Writing class with Miss Via. Our today's topic is about describing graph and chart. There are many types of graph or charts out there. However, our lesson will be specifically focused only on these three types of graph. The first one, bar graph, second, pie chart, and the last one is line chart. The first thing that I want to share here is about the language features of graph or chart description. The first one, if the fact isn't present, then we should use simple present tense. Second, if the fact is in the past, then we should employ simple past tense. Third, if the graph or chart has connection between past and present, then we should apply present perfect tense. For example, if there is a chart that provides the year started from 2000 to 2020, then we should apply the present perfect tense. Fourth one, we should use impersonal language. It means we should avoid the use of I, we, our, and etc. Let's take a look at the example. Instead of writing, we can see from the chart that blah blah blah, we should write it can be seen from the chart that blah blah blah. In this case, the word we is replaced by it. And then how can we decide whether we should use simple present tense, past tense, or present perfect tense? The first thing that we have to do is to look at the years provided. For example, this chart. This chart has the years started from 1975 to 2000. It means this happened in the past. Then we should use the simple past tense. The next part is about the structure. Just like the other text that we have learned in our previous meetings, this graph or chart description also has a structure. What is the structure? The first one, we should write the introduction. Second, we should write the overview. Third, we should write the body paragraphs. The body paragraphs can contain more than one paragraph. And then the last one is conclusion. Why is the conclusion put in a bracket? Because it is an optional. Why? Because we have written the overview. Let's discuss the structure one by one, started from the introduction. What we should write in the introduction? We should write what the graph is about. We should give the knowledge to the audience about what will be described. How to do it? First of all, we have to be able to identify general information from the graph. For example, this chart has three general information that we can use to write the introduction. The first one is the title. A title is one of the general information that we can infer from a chart or graph. The title of the chart is Consumption of Fast Food by Australian Teenagers. The second information is about the categories of fast food, which are pizza, fish and chips, and hamburgers. And the third information that we can use to write the introduction is about the years. The year of this chart is started from 1975 to 2000. It means it has 25 years period of time. Therefore, we can write the introduction sample like this. The given line chart illustrates the consumption of pizza, fish and chips, and hamburgers by Australian teenagers during 25 years period of time from 1975 to 2000. This introduction sample chooses not to write the word fast food. Instead, it writes the categories of fast food, which are pizza, fish and chips, and also hamburgers. And it also adds the period of time or the duration, which is 25 years period of time. It is to avoid the similarities between the title and also the introduction. Moving on to the overview. We should write the main trend or trends in the overview. A trend is the direction of movement from a graph or chart. Let's see this sample chart. This chart has three lines. However, it doesn't mean that this chart has three trends. Let's identify. This chart has red line which indicates a downward trend, and then It also has the other two lines, which are the blue and the green one. Those two lines indicate an upward trend. Therefore, we can write an overview sample like this. In general, the consumption of hamburgers and pizza shows an upward trend, while fish and chips consumption indicates a downward trend. The last part of a graph or chart description is the body paragraphs. Body paragraphs contain the detailed information of a graph or chart. The first step that we have to do is we have to be able to identify similarities and differences. And then we can go on to the second step, which is to group the data which have similar pattern. Let's identify the pattern of this chart. This chart has 3 data, but it doesn't mean that we have to write each description of them into 3 separate paragraphs, but we have to find or identify the similarities and differences. This chart has 2 similar data, which are pizza and hamburgers, and 1 different data, which is fish and chips. Therefore, this chart will have 2 body paragraphs. It doesn't matter which group of data you are going to write first. This body paragraph sample chooses to write the fish and chips data first. Let's read. Australian teenagers left eating fish and chips in 1975. It was the peak of fish and chips consumption when the consumption reached 100 times per year. This was far higher than the pizza and hamburgers, which were roughly eaten 5 to 10 times per year. Unfortunately, the fish and chips consumption had a slight fluctuation the following years until 1985 and gradually fell down to under 40 times in 2000. Alright, those are the explanations of a graph and chart description. Suppose you have any questions, then we can discuss them in our virtual class. See you!